What's up guys, this is Dark Magician here and welcome to another KOF video. So guys, as what I've mentioned in my previous video, we got this big update, the anniversary events, a lot of new stuff, and you know the unexpected boss for this anniversary was Catty Leona. So yeah, today's character introduction will be for Catty Leona. Okay guys, so as you can see, Catty Leona is an API 15 gank. As you see the stats, typical stats of a gank, moderate stats as usual. And her feature says lovely girl and silent menace. Now, you know, it doesn't really specify much, but you know, just the costume is so cute for Leona, although some people just don't like it. But anyway, it also says Ikari team because she's a member of the Ikari team, of course, in addition to Ralph, Leona, Clark, Hydern Whip, and Orochi Leona. Okay, now moving to her fates. First one, lovely girl. We need Catty Leona, Yuri, Kula, and Momoko, increasing attack plus 25%. Second fate, teammate friendship. We need Catty Leona, Ralph, Clark, and Whip, increasing attack plus 25%. And blood inheritor, we need Catty Leona, Leona, and Orochi Leona, increasing HP by 25%. So actually guys, for the first time, this is one API 15s whose fates are very easy to get. Right away, all the characters are easy to get, so that's actually a good thing about her. Of course, her weapon, the Catty Claw Saw, and she uses Beauty Badge and Street Fight Taunt. Now moving to her Fight Soul. Lovely Snake Soul. Now here, although it is a Snake Soul, but somehow it doesn't have the features of a Snake Soul. So let's see what they wrote here. Recover much HP and 85 rage before own attack each round, or let's say before or at the beginning of each round, and of course it starts since round 1, so this is actually a Space Soul, but you know, to make it maybe fit in other let's say Genesis teams or any other teams, they didn't give her a Space Soul, but instead they gave her a Snake Soul, although the characteristics are definitely for a Space Soul. Now starting with her skills, let's start with the passive first, Catty Power. Increase own and surrounding allies HP upper limit and attack for herself and the surrounding allies. 60% chance to stun target with her loveliness when attacking. It isn't actually a stun, but it's actually confusion, like Magaki and Elizabeth. Taunt target for 1 round and absorb main target's 10% damage rate for 2 rounds. When the target is immune to taunt, the damage absorbing is still applied. So in addition to the taunting, she will absorb 10% damage rate from that target. If HP is below 40%, this spell debuff immediately recover HP up to 60% max HP, and she will increase 20% resistance and ultimate resistance for 2 rounds, and this effect will be triggered for 9 types. This is actually funny because, you know, cats, they do have a lot of lives, as they say, so she can actually do that. When her HP gets below 40%, she will recover back to 60% at max, and she can do this up to 9 times in a battle. This is actually pretty good. Okay, upon start we'll get different effects depending on the fighters near Catty Leona. So here is the big deal about Catty Leona, which is that she fits in basically any team depending on the surrounding fighters. Okay, so of course the Fight Soul change and mark effect depend on position order, which starts from top to bottom in front row and then top to bottom again from the back row. Nothing much here. So here the positioning, guys. So here we're gonna see that she will gain some skills depending on the fighters surrounding her. Okay, now when the fighters surrounding Catty Leona have 3 types of Fight Soul in total, add Genesis mark such that if the Fight Souls include Tortoise, Serpent, Bear, and Tiger. So if she was surrounded by 3 fighters having 3 different Fight Souls, she will gain something called the Genesis mark. So this is actually in a team of 4 souls. Okay, so what does the Genesis mark give her? She will become immune to control everything, all types of CC excluding petrification, which is really not a big deal at this moment because only Mukai can do it, and you don't see much Mukais at this stage. Now, when 2 Tortoise fighters surround Catty Leona, add Tortoise mark. So here, they actually gave us the choice. If you want to surround her by 2, you will gain a Tortoise mark, which will do the following: permanently increase 30% resistance rate, which is nice. But if you surround her with 3 Tortoise fighters, she will gain Super Tortoise mark. Now you'll see this friend, let's say, in the following in this passive. You are free to surround her with 2 or 3 fighters, but of course it's better to surround her with 3 fighters to get the full effect. Now here, if she gained the Super Tortoise mark, she will increase 2 random allies resistance rate by 15% each round for 2 rounds. So she will boost 2 allies resistance rate by 15%, and this lasts for 2 rounds. So again guys, it's definitely better to try to put her in the middle position, either front middle or back middle, and surround her by 3 fighters instead of 2. Now, when 2 serpent fighters or snake fighters surround Catty Leona, add the serpent mark, which will permanently increase 30% the blood drain or HP drain rate. But when you surround her with 3 snake fighters, she will gain the Super Serpent mark and absorb 12% current HP from each round from enemy with the highest HP, which is the characteristic of Psyche if you notice. Okay, she will get 12%. She will absorb 12% from the enemy with the highest HP and takes her to her own. Now, when 2 bear fighters surround Catty Leona, add a bear mark, permanently increase 40% ultimate resistance rate, and when she's surrounded by 3 bears, of course she will gain the Super Bear mark, and she will permanently increase all the surrounding allies' ultimate resistance by 15%. Now finally, if she's surrounded by 2 tigers, she will gain the Tiger mark and increase 40% crit resistance rate, and if she was surrounded by 3 tiger fighters, she will gain the Super Tiger mark, and she will reduce 2 random enemies crit rate by 20% each round, and of course it lasts for 2 rounds. So guys, you see the trend how she's going. She fits in all teams. She gets totally different skills in each team. So it's up to you to choose, or to, let's say, give your opinion on which teams she can, let's say, perform the best in. Okay, although she does get different skills in every team. Now moving on to, of course, the second passive, attack and HP enhancement, increasing 5% attack and HP at level 1. Oh, by the way, just regarding the passive, of course at level 1 she increases herself and surrounding allies HP upper limit by 10% and attack by 6%. Of course the value will go higher as you level the skill up. Now going to the minor skill, the Excalibur. Attacking single enemy with severe injury effect for 2 rounds, of course bleeding effect, reducing target's 70% healing rate and reducing 10% HP each round, and does not incur rage recovery. So like Nameless's bleeding, this bleeding won't allow the fighter to recover rage from it. Now of course it lasts for 2 rounds. Absorb target and surrounding fighters 10% small skill rate for 2 rounds. Of course her self small skill rate max increase 35%, so she will take 10% of small skill probability from the opponent and give it to her own, but it can reach up to 35% at max. When Catty Leona has a Genesis mark, of course we've talked about all types of marks, so if she has a Genesis mark, she will deal extra damage worth 10% max HP on the target, which is really good. When Catty Leona has a Tortoise mark, she will recover 10% own HP, and in case of a Super mark, add to that 5%, so in total 15%. She will heal herself by 15% of her own max HP if she has a Super Tortoise mark. When Catty Leona has a Serpent mark, she will deal 50% extra damage, and when she has a Super Serpent mark, she will recover 100 extra rage. Straightforward. When she has a Bear mark, she will reduce the target's 200 rage, and when she has a Super Bear mark, she will steal the target's buff effect, and that's actually a very nice one. When Catty Leona has a Tiger mark, she will dispel a random ally's control effect, so she will clear CC for a random ally, and when Catty Leona has a Super Target mark, Tiger mark, recover that ally's 8% HP. Now here, it's kind of conditional, because if that ally was controlled, if he wasn't controlled, she won't recover HP for him. So, in this case, I think the Tiger one is the least important one out of those, for the skill, of course. Now finally, her ultimate military bayonet attacks single target, causing 30% splash damage upon surrounding targets, and unleash severe injury effect upon target for 2 rounds. Same thing, the bleeding effect for 2 rounds, and just like what we've mentioned earlier, reducing 70% healing rate and 10% HP each round without making the opponent make rage out of it. reducing target's 70% rage recovery speed for 1 round. So it's kind of like a ceiling, a weaker ceiling than Flame KO, but it's somehow a sort of ceiling in a way. If the target is killed, inflict severe injury effect or the bleeding effect upon surrounding targets for 2 rounds as well, but it's kind of like a attenuated one, so such that she will reduce 50% healing rate and 8% HP for those surrounding opponents. Okay, now when Catty Leona has a Genesis mark, again increase damage by 40% and recover whole team's rage by 100. This one is really good actually, and that's why she would perform really good in a 4 Souls team, and if she gains a Genesis mark, because this one is really important. Now when Catty Leona has a Tortoise mark, recover 20% on max HP, and Super Tortoise mark she will recover 15% HP for the ally with the lowest HP. So you can see her performance in a Tortoise mark. It's all about getting resistance, recovering HP, and helping allies gain resistance and HP. When Catty Leona has a Serpent mark, reduce all enemies 20% small skill damage and small skill resistance, and when she has a Super Serpent mark, she will extra reduce an additional 10% skill damage and skill resistance. If she has a Bear mark, she will reduce targets and surrounding enemies 30% ultimate damage and 15% ultimate resistance, and in case of Super Bear mark, she will increase her own 15% ultimate damage and 30% ultimate resistance for 2 rounds. Again, the Bear one, the Bear mark is all about ultimate damage and ultimate resistance boosts and debuffs for herself and for the team and for the opponents at the same time. And finally, when Catty Leona has a Tiger mark, she will deal 45% extra damage upon the main target, and if she has a Super Tiger mark, she will increase own 15% damage and resistance. That's why Tiger is not bad after all. So yeah guys, that was it regarding Catty Leona's skills. Of course, her gate partners. Now according to the guide, they say that the gate partners are Chang, Choi, and Mei Li, although they really don't make sense. But that's because we never got her in the Singapore server, so we never got her gates in the Singapore server, so I'm not quite sure about her gate partners, because she has a different gate partners in Japan. But again, Japan has a total different version of her, so we have to see until then. But for now, it's Chang, Choi, and Mei Li, which are definitely not hard to work on. Now the question is, of course, after that entirely big skill set, is she a good fighter or not? Definitely guys, she's a really good fighter, and she's definitely worth to be the special character of the 3rd anniversary. You've seen her skill set, you've seen that she typically works in literally every single team. She has a lot of good kit, a lot of skills for one fight. Now take in mind that you don't get all those buffs together, but you get one of those buffs depending on the team you put her in. But still, especially regarding her 9 lives and that she can recover HP and everything up to 9 times, that's actually something good and something we haven't seen in any other fighter before, except for Ash. But Ash, he can do it up to 3 times or 4 times, I remember. So yeah, definitely she's a good character and she's worth considering, although I would say she's not a must-have character in every team. So it's up to you guys, up to your plans, but you can still make her work in any team. Now, the second question is front or back. I actually, back in the Singapore server, because I did get her there and trained her, if you guys remember, I tried her in both positions, and honestly she did perform well in both positions. When she was at the front and giving her defensive rune sets, she actually tanked a lot, and actually I would do it again and put her at the front, because she can be really tanky out there. And at the same time, if you do get her in the back and boost her damage, she can do some good damage in addition to the splash damage. So yeah, you can rely on her for tanking and for damage as well. So it's up to you again. Now, in which teams does she perform best? Well, I think you got the answer, but I wanted to add one more thing about that, which is female teams, guys. Female teams, because you can get both boosts. If you put her in a female team, you can get the attack boost, the resistance boost, clearing the debuff boost from Superstar Athena, from Athena 2002 and everything. So she will be performing best in a female team, because at the same time you will be adding another mark to her, which is depending on your female team, whether it is a Genesis mark, Tortoise mark, etc. So you can make use of two boosts out there. So that's why you will see her best performance in female teams. But again, it's up to you to choose, because we need to be picky from now on. We can't really go for every fighter. So yeah, I think that was it now regarding here. Now we're gonna go to the runes section to see which runes are good for her. Now here I'm not gonna mention everything, because I'm just gonna mention the ones that actually can fit for her. Sorry about that. So yeah, here now, pretty much if she was at the front, which is something I would expect to see a lot, I would give her Heart of Thorns in first position, or Earth's Heart in second position. So either one, if you guys have her at the front, either Heart of Thorns or Earth's Heart, because you want to make her persist as much as possible. But if she was at the back, I would really recommend giving Dragon Tiger for her, because you will rely on her damage. And since she's a gank, now of course you can give her God's Wrath, but thinking again, since she's a gank and she doesn't really have a lot of crit boosts, so you won't really be seeing her critting a lot. So it's better to increase her base attack in this case. So Dragon Tiger would be the best choice for you. Another exception would be if you have her in a Wild Bear team, or if she has a a Wild Bear mark, or if she had the Fight Soul, the Wild Bear Fight Soul. In this case, you will make an ultimate in round 1, so you will just choose the other option, which is Wolf's Anger if you want to boost her attack, or Killing Soul if you want to boost her crit. So this is the case if she ultimates at round 1. Okay guys, so very flexible character. By the way guys, I just remembered something which I really need to mention. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to her card, because one important note that I forgot to mention here. Now here, yeah, when we've mentioned the Genesis mark, now we said that she will be surrounded by 3 different fighters, okay? 3 different fight souls. I need to mention something, that it's not still sure whether like at this stage or after we unlock her second gate, but she will be able to acquire the fight soul, the missing fight soul. So let's say she was surrounded by a tortoise, a snake, and a tiger, for example, then she will acquire a bear soul and she will be able to make an ultimate on round 1. So needed to mention this part about the Genesis mark, and even for the other fight souls, after her second gate, she will acquire that fight soul. This part is of course for gates which we haven't received yet, but we've made a translation before when we got her in seed. But yeah, anyway, until then we still got a lot of time. The last step, or the last thing I need to mention is the 5th fight soul. I'm sorry this is a long video, but it's just a long skill set. Which 5th fight soul will fit her the most? Of course the best choice would go for Guardian if she was at the front, because with Guardian you will make sure that she is safe for the first 2 rounds. You will make sure that she doesn't really die from a single hit or anything, because she wouldn't receive damage worth more than 40% HP. So if you are putting her at the front, just use Guardian, because it's the best choice for her. Other than that, if she was at the back or anything else, it doesn't really matter. There isn't any specific fight soul you can equip for her, just the ones that can cast debuffs, Lich, Goddess, Vengeance, other stuff doesn't really matter in this case. Okay guys, again sorry for the long video, but I do hope that I've covered all what you needed to know about Catty Leona. What are your thoughts about her? Are you going for her or not? And probably guys, I'm really hoping we can get more frags of her from the carnival, which should be here in May 16. So she probably will be an easy character to get, hopefully. We're still not sure about it. But yeah guys, until then, I'm gonna be seeing you in the next video. Peace out.